Good morning. Welcome to a morning review. This is Kim Watson speaking on Wednesday, the 28th of October. Okay, looking at the euro dollar first, and as you can see, yesterday we ended up just broke the top of that bullish harami. Never really got any legs in the move when it did do that, and very uncertain move. Relatively small ranging day. Today, so far, we've had a little shove up. We've got the daily pivot just above us, a few pips away. There is a trend line on the that's running across the lows here. We possibly may end up with a trend line across the tops. Let's just show you on the 60-minute. Actually, I haven't drawn it on. Let's just draw that on. Now, break of the lows would see us. Actually, I'm just going to draw that across the more recent lows, which is those 2 points there, and just effectively roll it backwards. But you see there's quite a few points around that area, so a break of that level would see me looking really for the downside. The one thing to bear in mind here in terms of targets is look at the way the pivots are getting more and more pinched. Effectively, the market's coming in and pinching price. Why is this? Well, tonight at 6 o'clock, we've got the FOMC statement coming out, so the US interest rate decision, and the markets are relatively unsettled on what's going on. And well, for most of this week, we've seen relatively modest moves. I mean, if you can see, the average true range is dropped down on this 60-minute time frame from where we were sitting closer to 25 pips in the hour down to half that, around about 13. So you see the range has dropped down across this time frame. So today could be much the same. We've got the daily pivot just above. There's a reasonable chance that get hit fairly soon. And when it does, it's really a case of which way to stay. It could easily range between the R1 and S1 sort of area, and it's probably not the easiest thing to see which way it's going. It's say short-term trending towards that upside. And you've got this sort of slow, gradual upward trend here, so it may just want to go back up towards that area that would tie in quite nicely, possibly as a shorting area with the previous highs that's sitting around there, depending on what time of day it does it. But there's a possible short area, but it's not. It's, as I said, really with the way it's pinched, it's not really a clear cut trading currency at the moment. Okay, that's the euro. So we'll look at the pound. So the pound, I had this trend line on the dailies, and it's sort of tested through there and managed to close pretty much on it. It's walked its way out the side of it at the moment, but certainly for sure we're seeing these sort of lower lows. Certainly the lower highs that were coming in, so the trend on the 4-hourly time frame is certainly to the downside, and we're looking like it's going to break that sort of upward range it had there. Overall bigger picture is arguably still on the downside as well. Coming down to the 60-minute here, pinched but not quite as pinched as the euro. You can see the pivots are sort of stepping their way down, but so is the price, and we're seeing, as I said, the lower highs, lower lows. At this point, really what I'm looking for this morning, if it does it, it's got within a smidgen of its daily pivot. If it breaks the lows there, maybe I'll look on the short side for the S1, yesterday's lows in the S1. There's starting to be, because of the fact that these markets at certain periods of the day aren't really doing too much, it's starting to give us relatively small ranges in terms of targets here. And overall 22 pips if it breaks that level down to the S1. But the ranges have been quite tight. I mean, this did actually kick off from a bit of US news yesterday and sold quite nicely, but the euro didn't do quite the same. Bit more volatility in the pound, but not a significant amount. If the average true range on this hourly chart is still only 12 pips, so it's not majorly different. In fact, it's the same. So if we do see a break of the lows there, I'm liking this downward trend, and I'll be going towards following that. Okay, dollar yen. Well, yesterday put in yet another down day. It's found some support off the 21s here, the 50, etc. Still facing south this trend line, the 50 EMA rather, which to me, I do wonder if we could see a bit more continuation move back into or following it back in there. It's almost got a bearish flag sitting there on the um, 4-hourly there. We just got a trend line across the lows there. It still hasn't come back to that 4-hourly 50, and it may be a target if it breaks the lows there. Not a great target to be going for because it'll be just too close to it. Looking where we are from an hourly perspective, daily pivot's already been touched by the looks of things there. If it does break to the upside here, a reasonable chance for us to run towards the hourly 50 and maybe the downside, the 200 or and possibly the S1. I say and it seems that because the ranges have been quite tight, and I would expect the range to be relatively tight today with the FOMC announcements later. I think we could see a bit of, tightness in the market this morning. News-wise, we've got very little out, but I'll come on to that in a minute when we get to the Aussie dollar. Let's just look at this. This has had some news out. The inflation figures came out this morning. Well, yesterday it was one of the more bearish. It's since it broke its trend and ran down in the afternoon quite strongly, and then we've had the inflation figures out this morning in the Asian session, and it's which disappointed. It sold off, and we're sitting here now, and I'm just looking at this. If we did, we talked about using regression channels to see where it might get back to. Sometimes the price just comes back to a level, and I'm just looking. If it did start moving up, well, there's a possibility of getting back in this range here, but it may be a big ask. But there's always the possibility. Price so often does come back into ranges and back into trends. It may just move back into that level. And if it doesn't do it this morning, maybe when the FOMC comes out, and if it disappoints, which is certainly a possibility, we could see some of these currencies flying. Right, okay, that's that. Okay, so I said I'll mention the news. Aussie dollar's already, I mentioned the news on that. There's now news coming out for the Aussie dollar. It's very weak. Euro news already been out this morning as well. So really, we got the US goods trade balance. That's a non-mover. That's at 12:30. And then we're really waiting till 6 o'clock. Crude oil inventories at 2:30. So we're trading crude and maybe get a bit of volatility in that, especially with the Canadian dollar, may get a bit more of a kicker with that. But in all other respects, we're really waiting for 6 o'clock for the FOMC and the federal funds rate numbers to come forward. And then 8 o'clock, we've got the New Zealand cash rate as well. So we may see a bit of action at 8 p.m. if you're following the New Zealand dollar. Okay, that's it for me. Hope you have a great day. Bye for now.